In most instances, you can determine whether or not a two-piece mold is needed by simply looking at the geometry of your part. Do you only need to replicate one side, or do you need to replicate both sides in order to maintain the look or function of the piece? For this segment, I'm making a two-piece mold from this knob that was from an antique range or stove. The first part of the process is to take Alumilite synthetic clay and pack it in the back side of the knob. We'll also have a base of clay that we're going to seat this knob in so that the clay acts as one half of the mold while we pour the first half. Once your clay work is done, you can build a mold box around the item. Locators are extremely important when making two-piece molds to ensure that two halves register really nicely together. We've mixed up a batch of Alumilite high-strength 2 silicone and we'll slowly pour it into the mold. The next day, we can gently remove our base and carefully dig out the clay. It's important to be careful and not disturb your original that has been seated in the first half of the mold that we poured yesterday. Before you pour the silicone, be sure to apply a rubber-to-rubber mold release all over the silicone that we poured the day before, or else the silicone will bond to each other and you'll end up with a one-piece mold that you'll have to cut your part out. We mixed another batch of silicone and poured the other half of our mold. Once your second half is cured, you can separate the mold and we're ready to begin casting your replica. Once the mold's ready to go, we can mix up our casting resin, which is Alumilite white here, and we'll slowly pour it into the mold. Here we used a couple rubber bands to hold the mold together. You don't want the rubber bands too tight because you don't want to deform the mold. Once cured, separate your mold halves and remove your replica. If you have any questions about this mold making process, please give us a call. We can be reached at 1-800-447-9344, or you can visit us at alumilite.com for additional videos and content.